care, you get good customer service, you get good files, you good severity, the companies want you, and we want you. So that's the best advice I could give you all night on how to make it in this business. So I'll shut up at that point.
All right, guys, y'all asked me about this insurance,
so
Justin.
Curtis, that was great. Let's talk a little bit. Let's go to Tony Macon. Tony, how long have you been in this business?
I've had the opportunity to work for Pilot for 40 years now. And
40 years.
It's been a blessing in my life.
Tony, do you think you can count the number of adjusters that you've worked with or helped through all those years? Can you give us like a...
Kind of like Rodney and Curtis, there's been several thousand that I've had the opportunity to shake their hand and thank them for working with us. Not just for us, we work together to a means to an end, and that is servicing our client company, which then you service the customer.
Yeah, I suspect that number is tens of thousands, and I think I'm right. I think there's thousands on one big storm.
Look at how many people they got in here, y'all.
We'd like to hear from you and talk a little bit about, because you're working right now, right, with a lot of adjusters that are deployed, and just tell the story about what's going on, what you're seeing, and what's happening, please.
Well, obviously the storm has hit. We have deployed adjusters. They'll be inspecting as early as tomorrow. We're having orientations in Mobile for the people that get selected. And the way you're going to get selected is fill out that smart sheet. Let us know your experience, your availability. We would expect you there if you won this pick. If you get picked tonight, you get a phone call tonight, then we would like to see you there come Sunday morning at our facility in Mobile. Now, we have multiple positions available. There are positions in Richardson, Texas, in the IA, which is the inside desk adjuster unit. We have positions in Mobile as an IA inside desk adjuster unit that we are looking for qualified people to join us in assisting the client company that we work for. We would hope that by filling out the smart sheet, you'll give us a little hint of your experience. And we will then move forward from there. But people without a lot of experience, Curtis mentioned it on the last call we had, we have a great inner working of support that we give the adjusters. We have Xactimate support lines. We have admin positions that assist you as an inside manager that assist you in the field. We have field support.
I'm trying to find some work right now.
Okay, but then you start bitching. Mute everybody.
Tal, let's mute, and all the co-hosts will unmute. It happens once in a while.
Unmute.
Some black guy came in.
Tony, unmute.
Y'all see that? Let's continue. Let's see how many. Y'all see how many people in here?
You're still muted, Tony.
Oh, sorry. Hold on a second.
Okay,
Tony. Yeah.
I'm back.
Got it.
All right.
Dang, I don't know how to do that. Keep going.
No kidding. So I appreciate everybody joining. I think I've talked enough. Let's just move forward. Thank you very much.
So Tony and the other people on this call, great people to get to know. You know, they usually when you talk to people that manage and pilot, I guess it says a lot about the company, because so many people are here for 20, 30, and even 40 years. And I think that says a lot. And Tony's a great guy, and I know him personally, and he's a great guy to get to know. So if you have the opportunity to work in a storm, please meet him. Please say hello, and he'll spend some time with you. Well, one more quick thing. I'd like to bring on Tony Hall and talk a little bit about, Tony, if you could talk a little bit about, where everybody should be at in terms of being ready. What does that mean to be ready to get that call?
Hey, good evening, Tom, and thanks everybody. We're kind of like you've mentioned already. We're here now, so what that looks like right now. The calls are going out, so hopefully by now, if you are intending to go out to work this event, you already have your truck packed or your vehicle is already packed. You verify that your licenses are in good shape, and you're ready. A lot of what we've done so far, we have deployed a couple of different teams. And it's important for you to kind of, I would recommend to ask the questions that are going to be important for you, once you are deployed out. So things like, hey, who's going to be my point of contact? Where do I need to go? What time do I need to be there? Those are the important questions. A lot of times we're going to get you out, and then there's some questions that you may not think to ask as you show up. As you're getting a call. So, making sure that your vehicle's packed, that your ladders are all tied down and secured safely. You have your supplies like measuring tapes. All your clothes are packed. Those are the important things for you to do right now. Also, just clearing up your mind. As we've mentioned on this call and some of the other calls, we are going to be working in the positions of service, to policyholders and to customers around the country. So it's important that we have a mindset that's going to be focused to assist those people in need and also deliver some excellent service, understanding that we're going to be some of those that are going to be in positions of influence. So, a confident mind, and just having all of your supplies packed up, I think we'll be in a good shape to get out and make a real big impact on this one.
Well, that's great information, and I want to ask you something, because I want to make Greg happy on this call. When you get a call during this time period, do you answer it?
I answer it every time. I answer it, and I'll kind of echo what Greg has been saying, because we've called a couple people who just aren't answering the phones, and unfortunately, on the flip side of that coin, there's the potential that the deployment could get filled. And, I just want to be transparent about that. So, it's important that we are answering those calls and being available. So,
Tony's become a very valuable addition to Pilot. Started with adjusting, worked his way up. He kind of does everything now, and he's a good role model to talk to. If you meet him on a storm, please say hello. He'll spend time with you, and he'll give you some insight, some advice, and always there to help. We do have something we want to offer today, the weather, right? And a little bit of what's been happening. And we have Mark for that. Mark was going to get on and give you a little snapshot of what the storm did and some good information about it, because this is still developing, folks. Just because it hit doesn't mean that it's over. There's assessments going on, and then what might be coming up. Mark?
Hey, thanks, Tom. Good evening, Team Pilot. What a difference 24 hours makes on this storm. Helene moved inland quicker than anticipated last night. Made landfall as a Category 4 in the Florida Big Bend area just east of Tallahassee. The storm quickly downgraded when as it made impact. The image I got pulled up on the screen here, it shows the darker red is the hurricane force wind areas, and the other is the tropical storm force wind. So you see that large areas, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, all sustained tropical storm force winds. So again, the storm did drift slightly east of where we anticipated. However, there's still lots of roof damages. There's lots of trees down, lots of power lines down. Last notice I saw was around 4.1 million folks without power. So that's a lot of trees and power lines tangled together. And it did do some pretty extensive damage on some of the cell services. So a lot of those are down right now, and communications have been difficult in the affected area. Was quite a bit more flooding and storm surge in the area along the inland, further than what we previously anticipated as well. Current storm, this is about an hour and a half ago where the current storm was remaining. It's still dropping a lot of rain in the Ohio Valley and the Virginia East Coast. I wanted to piggyback on the North Carolina area specific. There's a pretty nasty area of concern there around the Asheville area. There's a Lake Lure Dam. It's just east of Asheville. Wednesday and Thursday last week, they had 10 to 12 inches of rain before Helene came in. That dam is in danger of breaking. There is water overtopping the dam and going around the dam right now. So anybody gets deployed out there in the western part of North Carolina, be sure you're checking the roads and the safe areas before you head out that way. And as we mentioned, keep an eye on the future, right? It never stops. One rolls through, and then more things start developing. So we're keeping a close eye on this area of development down here in the Gulf. this is starting out to be about the same area that Helene started, and it's about 9 days behind Helene. So with the current storm moving out, Tom, they got emergency operations and power restoration services underway. Now it's time for us to get in and do what we do best, and that's assist folks with their insurance needs. So I look forward to working with y'all and seeing y'all out in the field or in the in-office operations, and we'll keep a close eye on this one and see how it develops.
Thank you, Mark. Curtis, I know that storm's, pretty far away, but, sitting where you sit, do you have some concerns about that? And what are you thinking? Like, what goes through your mind when you see that storm?
I just usually try to go with my gut. Sometimes, well, I'll be honest with you. Sometimes my wife says that when I'm not right, I just tell her it must have been gas. But I go with my gut, and the main. Sorry, but
no one expected that one.
I know it. But when they start coming, there was predictions this was going to be one of the worst hurricane seasons we've ever had. It didn't materialize, and I think that it just got delayed. And I think they're going to come off. The positioning of this, when they come off of Africa, they can do anything. They start turning north, you can get them. Their way out, they're going to go north. They can come in and hit the East Coast. But when they're captured inside the Gulf, like a glove, I mean, they're a ball in a baseball glove's all they are at that point. They got to come out somewhere, and they're going to come out the top. And so there is a chance for Mexico, but I don't believe it on this one. Once it gets parallel with the bottom of Texas and Brownsville area, it's coming. And right now, the good news is that with experience, you're needed. Even if you a few good men, a few good ladies, this other one hits and you didn't make on this one, that would be your opportunity to jump in, because there's going to be so many adjusters that are busy on these other storms and things of this nature that the industry's going to be stretched so much that life's opportunities, and you just have to take it when it hits. And timing and opportunities is what makes you successful. And so I do believe it's coming in. I do believe it's going to hit. And I do believe it's going to get in that Gulf of Mexico. And we saw that last one, Helena. I mean, all she did was in 2 or 3 days, she went from almost 35 miles an hour to a Cat 4 hurricane. And they tend to follow, and I don't know why. It's just they tend to follow some of the same path. It looks like it is. I don't know if it just digs a trench in the ocean or what goes on, but they tend to follow some of the same path. But if that thing was to hook a little bit more and go into Tampa or Florida, we'll be working for multi-years. I'm just going to tell you like it is. If it was to go into New Orleans, we're going to be working for crazy a long time too. If it goes into Texas, all those areas are big areas. The only place it can't go is Mobile, Alabama. But other than that, it can go anywhere. So, but I honestly believe this one has more than a good chance of causing havoc for us.
Well, thank you. Thank you for those insights. And Roddy, maybe you could talk a little bit about one big topic that everybody wants to hear is, the deployment that's been happening and the assessments that will be going on and how this kind of plays out over the next few days.
Well, I think Tony did a nice job of laying the framework of where we are in the idea and the deployment opportunities that are current. As we look at this, and Mark did a nice job with the weather, but one of the things maybe we could add to that is that there's supposed to be raining over the Ohio Valley for the next few days. So we don't know what that's going to present. Certainly do not know what this new storm will present, but I do agree with Curtis that once once it gets into the Gulf is coming somewhere. So I think this may be the opportunity for many of the folks on the call and that's been looking for an opportunity to go to work to just be a little patient. Let us understand what happens over the next couple of days. If I'm honest, we received more claims today than I thought we would on autos and property, and if that continues, our deployments will certainly increase for this storm and certainly future storms as well.
And we also ended up with a lot more flood than I was expecting. My gosh! So if you do have a flood number, please put it down. It has to be an NFIP flood certification number. If you don't have one, come January, if you're not working and you want to stay in this business, get your flood license. I mean, the billing schedule's off the charts. It's good claims to work. They don't happen as frequent as wind and hail and things of this nature, but when they do happen, they can put beans on the table for you and your family. So the flood certification is very important. If you have the number, please make sure it's on that smart sheet. If you did not put your flood number on your smart sheet, we're asking you only fill out one smart sheet. Just put your name and all that and put your flood number on it, and we'll know to match it up with the other one. So would that work for you, Tal, or do you have to have them fill out the whole thing?
The whole thing, Curtis.
Okay.
Yeah. And it doesn't take long.
And all I'm interested in that flood number because that gives you an opportunity that some people don't have.
Yeah, that comes January 2025.
Well, we want to be respectful of your time. It's Friday night. It's 7:30 already, Central Time. So we're going to jump to questions. But before we go to questions, somebody will end up closing the call and speaking to the group and giving, a great message, inspirational message. And I love seeing their face when we yell out the name here, and it's like, oh my God, it's me. So it is Jade Frias today.
Anyways,
hey, Jade.
January 2025,
right?
yeah, I'm
That's
going
a
for
big
that flood
smile.
certification.
You're going to be great, but you got a little bit of time to think about it. I'm going to take a few questions, and we'll be coming back to you, okay?
Tom, what's the name so I can make him co-host?
Black people in here, white people.
Her name is Jade Frias.
Jade.
Oh, there you go.
J-A. Sorry.
That's
okay,
got it. Girl.
Got it.
Go on, get in there, Jade.
Yeah.
Let's see you.
All right, yeah. Excellent. All right. Tal, some questions?
All right. Before I go to questions, I have been admitting some new people in the waiting room, so to the Zoom here. So I want to run through another spiel on the pilot storm team smart sheet. Heard a lot of people say fill out the smart sheet, so I'm going to go ahead and paste the smart sheet form link in the chat.
I already filled it out,
where you could just go to the chat icon, click the hyperlink, fill out the smart sheet form, so that way we have your experience information, we have your desired positions that you would like to be deployed to, and if you already have completed the smart sheet form in the last 2 days, you do not have to fill out another one. We are in the process of going through all the forms and contact you. So just be patient with us. We appreciate it, and fill out the smart sheet if you haven't had a chance to.
I'm only State Farm
please fill it out
right
tonight
now,
because if you mentioned it, I want to make sure that everybody understood. We still have more than a few, but a few OA positions to fill in multi-states, and we still have some positions to fill IA adjusters in Richardson, Texas, and also Mobile in the deck building. And so anyway, I just want to make sure and let you know we do have some availability. It's not going to last long. So if you want to be considered for that, we're probably, I would be surprised if we don't have it filled. Maybe we won't get it all filled till in the morning, but we should have it filled after this call, and the call we had before.
Okay, excellent. Just one thing I'd like to mention, a lot of times we talk about brand, right? And we'll go through the whole thing. I know that you've heard it. I just want to commend you because it's obvious that you are working on your brand. You wouldn't be on this call if you weren't doing that, Friday this late. And I know I'm in the adjusting world when fellow adjusters when we all do this together. So we are going to have that other call at Sunday, and this will be 7 o'clock on Sunday, just to let you know. So Tao, how about some questions?
All right. I'm going to say this question. I'm going to go ahead and answer because it's something that I can answer this one here. I have added license since the last call for Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Can I update this on the sheet? So the good thing about Pilot is that once you have your additional licenses, we already have your NPN number in our licensing database. So any new licenses that you get is going to reflect automatically into our database. So you don't have to worry about updating it to Pilot. But you would have to get onboarded with Pilot. And then once you're onboarded, then we keep up with your license information.
Okay. Excellent. Nice. Next question.
Okay. Let's see where there's some smart sheet questions. Just trying to sift through the comments.
She in the chat room? Oh, I don't know what they're talking at, y'all.
Tom, I'm going to get off. Thanks, everyone. I have a company person calling me right now, so I'm going to have to get off. And God bless, and thanks, everyone.
Good night, Curtis. Thank you.
Okay, is there a possibility in a flood class before January?
I can answer that one. No, there isn't. If not on this storm, this storm is impactful. There are certainly flood claims, and they're coming in. Flood usually takes a little longer because people generally evacuate the house because of the nature of the storm. But we were very active today. And I suspect over the next 2 days, if it follows what it normally does, it's going to be even more. But the certification needed to take place. It usually ends, I believe, in May. Yeah, May 31st. Thanks, Bob. That's Bob Euler, by the way, and Bob. And so it ends on May 31st. So you want to get ahead of that, okay? Because after that, you don't have the opportunity to work flood unless every once in a blue moon there's something really huge and they'll do immediate certifications, emergency certifications, but it's rare. So next year, right after January, please, you have to take the NFIP certification too. It used to be that Pilot was the first one and the only one for a long time that could offer a class and you'd get certified through that class, through NFIP. They no longer allow that in the industry. You have to go to one of their classes, but guess what? You can do it online, all right? You can do it from where you are, and it takes about 4 or 5 hours. So, yes. Go ahead, Tao.
All right. Are there any remote desk adjuster positions available?
Let's go to Tony. I think Tony would.
The answer to that is yes and no. What we're looking for is inside adjusters to work in our offices. Once they establish themselves and prove how good they are working on their own within the office, then we do allow people to work from home after that. You'll say, well, I've got experience, I've done it in the past, but maybe not with us, where we can see how well you communicate with people on an on-site basis and how well you work on your own within an office is how we will then evaluate you going home to work from home. And you say, well, how long does that take, Tony? A month, 6 weeks maybe? And then you might be home working with us for a year, like Curtis said earlier. We're not just a one-hit wonder with regards to the storms that hit. We have storms all year long, and the people that do a good job work quite a bit.
Thank you, Tony. Tao, next question.
Okay, can I request a specific area to work, or you just send me wherever?
Hunter?
Obviously, we'll do the best we can to accommodate what areas people want to work, but obviously the first thing we have to look at is where the need is, and that's where we're filling deployments, is where the storm hit and where the claims are and where the need is. And then the second thing we go to from there is licensing and making sure that you're able to work that particular area based on the licenses that you hold. On this storm, the Florida, Georgia both have emergency licenses in place. I don't know that South Carolina, for example, has done that yet. So if you said, hey, I want to work in South Carolina, you would have to have the South Carolina license to do that, for example. But, we do what we can to accommodate where people want to go, but the need is where the claims are. So those are the deployments we offer.
Okay, let's take this a step further. You're on a storm, and you're deployed. And, and as you're deployed, you realize that there's another opportunity somewhere else, and you're already deployed. This happens at times. And you want to go to that other area. Can you just leave and go? Or how does this work? If it can work.
No, you can't just leave and go. We don't. Our clients have asked us to take care of their customers, right? And so when you have claims in an area, you have customers in an area that you've made appointments with, that you've promised to see and to get their claim to a conclusion. So what we'd be looking for you to do is to finish that up, and then we'll see if we can't move you from that point. But if you're itching to go somewhere else, you reach out to your manager, you let us know what you're thinking, and we will walk you through that scenario and figure out a way to make it work for both of us. That is a common thing, especially this time of year, and we are used to working through those scenarios.
Yeah, it kind of falls under the professionalism, and kind of doing the right thing, right? You can't leave something undone. You have to go through proper channels, to do any of those type of moves.
Well,
okay.
We talked about earlier, right? We exist to take care of customers in a time of need. Abandoning your assignment is the opposite of that. You're abandoning individual people that need their damages assessed and need their home put back together so they can get their life back together.
Yeah, see it through. Do a great job. Last a long time. And guess what? You've done something for your brand, for yourself, and also within Pilot. You'll be recognized for things. Tao, next question.
Okay, if we don't have a Georgia license, can you help us get emergency license?
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to go.
Paul?
I gotta go to work, baby.
Would you like to answer that?
I put this on YouTube for y'all to watch. Y'all tell me what you think in the comment section.
Thanks, Tom. I'm trying to find that mute button. Yes, we have a department, a licensing department, compliance department that really monitors all of the states, and we can help you file for and receive an emergency license where it's available in Georgia for sure.